everyone. I am Hillary Platt, and I am an early member of the go-to-market team at OpenAI. It is great to be here. So in my role, I advise companies across Europe, Middle East, and Africa on what is possible with AI, from internal productivity and operations to building new AI features in their products. The landscape is moving very quickly. Today, I'm going to dive in to what tends to hold companies back in AI and how the most successful teams are moving faster. But before I do, I want to just give a little bit of background on OpenAI, first starting with our mission, which is to create artificial general intelligence that benefits everyone. And the way that we bring this mission into the world is through the following operating model. So at OpenAI, we have two engineering teams. We have our research team, and we have our applied team. So our research team, you can think of those computer scientists in a room basically making computers do things that they've never done before. Then we have our applied team. So that's the team that's actually taking these models and turning them into products, turning them into ChatGPT, turning them into our APIs. And then, of course, we want these products to actually matter to our customers. And so that's where my team comes in, the deploy team. And we are going into the market, we're talking to customers, and we're getting their feedback. And I think one thing that's unique about OpenAI is that AI is all that we do. So we're able to have a really close feedback loop between our deploy team and between our research and our applied team. So I should take a little bit of a major step back, not even a little, a major step back to the beginning. We think of AI as new, but it actually goes back decades. So the Turing test came in 1949, which asked this question, can machines think? In 1954, we had the IBM 704, which was running some of our earliest machine learning. A couple years later, John McCarthy, he coined the term artificial intelligence. Then there was this robot excitement in the 1970s. We had a bit of a boom and a bust, where it was the next big thing in the 80s, and then everyone kind of gave up and left the field in the 90s. Then we got to the 2000s, social media, and we saw that AI started to work for some narrow things like feed ranking and recommending who to follow. Then in 2015, there was this group of crazy AI scientists, AKA my colleagues, who got in a room in San Francisco and said, OK, I think we can actually create artificial general intelligence. And for those of you who are not familiar with this term, it's basically AI that can understand, learn, and perform any intellectual task that a human can. Everyone ignores these researchers. But then the experiments actually start to scale, and we see that with more data and more compute, the models are getting more intelligent. So we have GPT-1, GPT-2, and suddenly these crazy AI researchers don't really seem so crazy anymore. So in 2022, we launched ChatGPT, and here we are today, 3 years later, and we have more than, as of this month, 800 million weekly active users. So everything has changed, and we're really just getting started. And I think it's important to think, why is this moment different? So before ChatGPT, AI was limited just to researchers and to engineers. Now, after ChatGPT, AI is available to everyone, to creators, to marketers, to financiers, to everybody in this room. And people are receptive. In just 3 years, AI has reached almost 40% of adults. For perspective, the internet took 4 years to reach this point. The PC revolution took about 12 years to reach this mark. So why is AI going so fast? First of all, it's everywhere. It's right in our pockets, and it's accessible as a consumer tool. And I think that the pace of innovation itself is just keeping us interested. You've probably heard AI is moving very fast, faster than before. But seriously, this even blows our minds at OpenAI. We used to measure change in a matter of years, then we moved to months, and now the pace is really in a matter of weeks. And very critically for enterprises, for all of you, the models are getting smarter, but at the same time, they're also getting cheaper. So just to put this in perspective, with GPT-5 Nano, we have now cut token costs by 99% in just 2 years. And these cost reductions, they've made it possible for enterprises to actually deploy AI at scale. So, given the pace of innovation, the new levels of intelligence, the cost reductions, companies, understandably, you have very high expectations. 75% of executives believe AI will disrupt their industry. 92% of companies surveyed by McKinsey are investing in AI, yet only 26% have been able to move out of pilot and into production use cases, partly because it's hard to know how to scale. And over the course of our work with enterprises, we've noticed 3 key myths that slow companies down from becoming leaders. The first myth is that finding one big AI project, one transformational use case, is the only way to succeed. Instead, many of our customers see much faster time to value by pursuing AI literacy across their whole teams. The second myth is that giving the most available tools to everyone will lead to AI literacy and adoption. But the reality is, if the tool doesn't work or your team isn't using it, you're going to struggle with adoption. And the third myth we often hear from companies is they just want to wait a little bit for AI to mature because companies are a little bit nervous. But we're already seeing companies drive incredible value with their AI exploration. We just heard Monday talk about all of the great AI solutions that they're building. They are one of these companies. So AI feels like magic. So it's natural to chase one big transformational idea. BCG has found that 74% of companies fail to scale their AI initiatives. Our most successful companies have focused on giving employees agency to experiment. Instead of trying to scope one big project, they're scaling and building on employee ideas. By growing this AI literacy, they're finding new solutions and finding new revenue streams. One great example here is Moderna. For those of you who are not familiar, they are best known for creating one of the first COVID-19 vaccines. Moderna gave OpenAI to all of their employees, not just to their data scientists. And they immediately found benefits for individuals in the company. And then they started to build GPTs that benefited the whole team. And for those of you who are not familiar with what a GPT is, they're essentially reusable workflows in ChatGPT, a way to package prompts, context, and data so that everyone in the company can use them consistently. One of the most exciting GPTs that Moderna made was their Dose GPT, which is helping scientists analyze huge clinical data sets safely and accurately. By focusing on AI literacy across teams, our customers are seeing immediate efficiency gains, operational savings, and they turn their companies basically into innovation labs. This is paying off. BCG has said that AI leaders are seeing 1.5 times revenue growth than their peers that are not investing in AI. This is a playbook we see across many of our most successful customers. Companies like Match, Whoop, Klarna, Canva, and BBVA. BBVA is one of the largest banks in Spain and in the world, and so I'll let you hear it directly from them.
Somebody in a department thinks that something is useful for the whole bank, creates a GPT, and it works. So this is a way people are collaborating in ways that before it was unthinkable. Our adoption strategy has always been focused on putting people at the heart of everything that we do and put this in the hands of people that are in front of the problems, of the opportunities, of the businesses, of the processes, because they are the ones who really know where the opportunities lie.
That's why when we knew about the launch of ChatGPT Enterprise, that was the type of product that we needed. We are around 130,000 employees spread across the whole world. We wanted to spread these capabilities across the whole bank. And we wanted that to be like the spark of a bigger transformation. We started with 3,000 licenses, and once you have 3,000 data points, you can make much better decisions than when you have 0.
The consultative team handle around 40,000 questions per year, about like 210 questions per day. DCPT pulls all that information together in one place, making searches faster and accurate. This saves a huge amount of time for our lawyers so that they can focus in more strategic and complex issues.
The analysts need to read all the annual reports. You have among these reports structured and unstructured data. And in this sense, ChatGPT is able to work on the structured data and generate a structured format for the analyst to go directly to the point.
It is very important to measure if what you are doing is adding some value or not. We are looking at hard data, usage statistics, number of GPTs, other engagement metrics that we are getting from the platform. And then we are also having focused efforts on identifying use cases. When I think that this is only been 5 months since we started, for me, it's unbelievable.
We believe that if we wanted to have a big transformation in the bank, we had to have everyone touching that technology. We were sure that many of the employees were using that for the daily life, and we wanted that to happen also in your daily job. So the excitement, we go, you have a coffee and everyone comes and thank you for doing this. What you see is that people see the value. And it's not a transformation that we need to push. Everyone wants to be part of it.
Everyone at BBVA looks so friendly and happy. Maybe I should move to Spain. That's amazing. All right, on to our second myth, which is that availability leads to adoption. Many of our companies are under the assumption that if you simply give AI to your employees, oftentimes the tools that you already have in your tech stack, you'll be successful with adoption. But in fact, many AI implementations today are failing. And while they're blaming people and processes, the tools really matter. So as I said earlier, as of October, we've reached 800 million weekly active users on ChatGPT. And I don't think this is a coincidence. We've seen this incredible user growth because of the way that we've built our product. But to say ChatGPT is the easiest AI tool to adopt probably is a bit meaningless because I work there. So we encourage our customers to run pilots, test ChatGPT against your current solutions. And the results are really incredible. When they run these side-by-side tests, we see a significant difference in preference and adoption when employees are using ChatGPT. And while preference, of course, makes us feel good, these utilization rates, those are the most important because those translate to direct impact. We think that ChatGPT is easily adopted because we're not just building software. We're building an AI teammate for every employee. There is a strong chance that your employees of this companies that you work at make up a part of the 800 million weekly active users. So if you were to give them ChatGPT at work, they would know how to get started. But for those of you who are your employees who are new to ChatGPT, we've made it an incredibly intuitive chat experience. It's multimodal, drawing on vision, video, and voice. One really exciting thing is that earlier this year, we launched connectors, which is making it possible to bring your data into ChatGPT. So from Google Drive and SharePoint to Notion and Slack, just launched that last week and it's making everyone very excited, teams can now focus on doing their work instead of searching endlessly for the right inputs. Finally, it would not be a talk about AI if I didn't mention agents. I heard from a colleague recently that agents are the new crypto of 2025. Basically, no one knows what they are. So let me make it simple. When we think about agents, it's a system that can independently accomplish tasks on your behalf. We are building agents into ChatGPT and making them very simple to use. So anyone can start delegating tasks. And finally, the last myth is that you can just wait until all of this blows over and adopt technology once everything settles down. I meet with a lot of customers that feel that they have to get every single thing right before they can actually adopt AI. But the sad reality is I don't think things are really going to settle down anytime soon. And when you wait, your competitors are seeing an incredible ROI and getting that competitive edge. I work with companies every day that are building new revenue streams and achieving significant operational savings. A great example here is Duolingo, who was able to add new membership tier to their platform, unlocking 40% year-over-year growth of paid subscribers. Okay, I've talked a lot about ChatGPT, about scaling, but I want to jump into the tool itself so you can see it for yourself. So one of the metrics we track when we roll out ChatGPT at companies is creativity. Is ChatGPT making you more creative in your role? Oftentimes, 98% of the time, the answer is yes. And I can attest to this. So I had a lot of fun coming up with today's fictional brand and the very critical challenge that this company is looking to address. So let me show it to you here using Sora, our new video app that we just launched last week.
Out here, they're putting in the miles right beside you. Tail wagging, lungs working, paws pushing up every switchback, and back at home, they're still looking to you for what's next. Ever think those happy hikers might need the same sweet electrolytes?
As you all have seen here, we are in a critical hydration crisis. In this wild electrolyte craze, one key stakeholder has been left behind. And yes, that is your dog. But fear not, Fetch Fuel is here to solve this critical market gap. Fetch Fuel is a UK-based brand, and they've started to see a lot of traction in the market. So much traction that they are considering moving into the German market. Look at those dogs. I mean, amazing. But before they actually make this move into Germany, they need to do a bit of research. Fortunately, the team has ChatGPT Enterprise. Since the launch of ChatGPT in 2022, the team has focused on shifting chat from being something that just answers questions for you, but a tool that can go and solve problems on your behalf. And we're creating this paradigm shift with the introduction of agents, which we talked about earlier. The first agent that we launched in ChatGPT was deep research, and that is where Fetch Fuel is starting today. The team starts with a simple prompt. I am leading the Fetch Fuel expansion strategy from the UK into the German market. Reminder, I am a business that does hydration tools for dogs. Note that they wouldn't actually have to tell ChatGPT that because there's incredible press about Fetch Fuel on the internet. But we're seeing traction at home, and we want to test whether the German market is a good place to go. Can you run a market analysis for us? So like any good researcher, deep research is coming back and asking you a few additional questions. Your timeline for expansion, and a few other pieces. But for the purposes of today, we're saying use your best judgment as you go into this report. So, because time is limited, I am not going to make you wait the 11 minutes that it took for this research report to run, but I'm going to jump over to the output that we got. You can see that it performed 139 searches and pulled from 19 sources on the internet. Deep research now does not just need to pull from the internet. You can also do deep research reports over your own company data. So we can see here, I think Fetch Fuel is onto something. It's a $250 million market for hydration in Germany. Consumer buying behavior is strong. People are loving their dogs in the German market. We're getting a little bit of information on the competitive landscape, the regulatory environment. So just in 11 minutes, deep research took on a task that historically could take weeks for your team. And you don't need to just trust that it is accurate. You were given all of the sources that it used in its research so that your teams can go, verify, and make sure that you want to use the sources that are being pulled in here. Good news. The German market wants Fetch Fuel. So we've expanded, and we have done a 1/4 exploration into the market, and we have some analysis to do on those 3 months of sales. So we're going to go back into ChatGPT to analyze the data. So we're going to ask, can you help us analyze our Q1 sales? What stands out? What cities are buying Fetch Fuel? What flavors are selling best? So we can bring in the data directly into ChatGPT, and it's going to start running some analysis. One thing that is great about data analysis in ChatGPT is if you are one of those people who often felt very sad because you didn't have the Excel skills that your colleagues had and they were talking about tricks and macros and you had no idea what they were talking about, you don't have to learn Excel now. You can just use ChatGPT. But for those nerds behind every team, you can see the Python scripts that are running in the background and actually see how the analysis is taking place. So we're coming out with some charts from ChatGPT about our data, which are great. But what's also interesting and helpful is that it's going to provide summaries. So if you are someone who likes to see visual data, but you also want to have that summary to share with your boss, you can have that as well directly in this flow of work. So now I want to combine these insights with some internal reports. While we've been doing this research into the German market, a lot of our teams have been behind the scenes doing additional analysis on the regulatory environment, on the labeling and science rules of launching into the German market. And so I want to pull in that company research into ChatGPT. And so you'll see here the various connectors that I can pull from. We're going to use SharePoint for the purpose of this demonstration, but you could pull in your data from Slack, from Notion, from Google Drive, directly into your analysis. And so I'm going to ask, all right, we are going into the market. What do we need to know about ingredients and labeling? And so directly, ChatGPT is now feeding us information from internal data. Our team has done these reports, and I have been out on holiday for a few weeks, and so I need to get up to speed on what the latest is on the packaging rules. So next, we're going to ask a question. Now we're going to ask the question about packaging. Again, it's going to ask these questions, and it's going to feed back information directly from your internal sources. But because Fetch Fuel is a small company, we wear many hats, and we are now charged with figuring out the branding campaign for the move into the German market. So one thing that I'm going to rely on here is image gen. For those of you who are not familiar, it's the ability to create images directly in ChatGPT. When we launched this in 2023, we actually saw 100 million new users join the platform in a matter of days, which was an absolute nightmare for our support team. But here we are today. We're able to ask this prompt, okay, I'm going into the German market. Based on the brand guidelines that you have about our business, can you create an image to help get our designers some inspiration as they start to think about their branding campaign for the German market? This, if you've used it, you know it takes a little bit of time because it has to do some incredibly smart thinking behind the scenes. I've sped that up here for you, so you don't have to really wait. But here we are. For those of you who speak German, I hope this is verifiably okay. I have asked my colleagues, and they said yes, but there we go. Fetch Fuel is ready to go into the German market, has some ideas to share with their marketing teams. All right, so we've reached our pilot. We have some key information on regulations. Now I need to head to Germany to meet with some of the distributors. And while dogs are amazing at many things, making us happy, they're not always the best at researching flights and booking hotels and finding the best restaurant. So I'm going to turn to ChatGPT Agent. I am instructing the agent that I'm heading to Berlin and I need help finding flights. Please make them cheap. We are a startup. Pet-friendly hotel. While I'm not obviously bringing my dog with me to Germany, I would like to see some dogs in the lobby. So pet-friendly hotel, please. And finally, we're going out with some partners. They're all very health conscious, so let's make this a vegan restaurant. So agent mode in ChatGPT is a browser-powered agent that autonomously plans and executes multi-step web research. It visits pages, extracts and verifies facts, and synthesizes cited answers. You can watch it follow along here as it searches the internet for flights, just like a human would. It's doing various tasks, seeing what would be the best flight. You can see it's even going on right here to Google Flights to do its searching. For this purpose of this prompt, I didn't say, okay, go actually buy the ticket for me. I don't actually make the hotel reservation, but you can instruct Agent to do that as well. It will ask you to take back over the screen, put in your credit card information, and then it will actually go and perform these tasks for you. So for those of you who don't have the luxury of having an assistant, we're seeing teams save many, many hours of manual research and putting that into minutes. I'm very happy to report that the Berlin meetings were a major success, and Fetch Fuel has now made it on the shelves of every major German pet store. From this image, you can see that inexplicably you can find it next to the creme and the lemon soda. Who knows why? But with the help of ChatGPT, Fetch Fuel was able to run market analysis, analyze consumer data, create a first pass at a branding campaign, and plan a trip to Berlin. This is the power of having an AI teammate. It helps teams move faster from question to decision to action. The industry is moving incredibly fast. I work at OpenAI, and I find it hard to keep up. But if you take away anything from today, please remember the following. Small wins can scale value faster. Empower your teams with AI. It can unlock transformational use cases for your business. Secondly, selecting the right AI partner is crucial. An intuitive solution that easily connects your employees with their data is key to drive AI adoption. And finally, first movers will be rewarded. We're already seeing significant advantage for our early adopters, and those who take decisive action now are having that competitive edge. And with that, the only thing to say is thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I really hope we have the opportunity to work together.